Right, we're gonna watch the Jake Paul versus Tyron Woodley fight. Well, we're gonna watch the highlight video because I'm not sitting through the whole thing. Although I did hear that it was quite an entertaining fight, but I think the highlights, this will be 6 or 7 minute long video, so that'll be enough to get a gist of it. Like, I am not a hater. There's just no part of me that is a hater or hates on anything that other people are doing. Like, to be honest, I really just don't give a fuck enough to care about other people's business to actually come out and say, like, oh my god, I can't believe what Jake Paul's doing. He's so disrespectful to the MMA community or to the boxing community. I mean, like, and I totally get people's viewpoints. I totally get why boxing purists, MMA purists will hate someone like Jake Paul. I look at Jake Paul and I see someone who is, obviously he's incredibly smart. Like, there's no denying that. Anybody that says that denies that just doesn't understand the game. They don't understand fighting. They understand the business around fighting, and they don't understand entertainment. Jake Paul is entertaining, full stop. It is what it is. Like, there's no denying that. Fighters need to understand that a little bit more, in my opinion. And like, when you understand it, it can't be used against you. It can't be used to hurt you. Do you know what I mean? These people complaining, and of course fighters should be getting paid more, especially UFC people should be getting paid more. But if you're not doing anything out of the cage and you're not bringing in any numbers, any attention, you're not bringing any value to the UFC or to the promotion, then it's business. They don't have to fucking pay you. Like, you have to know your worth and you have to show what your worth is. And Jake Paul has got a large worth. It's very simple. So this is why he was able to set up this fight with Tyron Woodley, who is obviously ex-UFC champion. I think he defended the belt 4 or 5 times, which is unbelievably impressive. I mean, it takes a special athlete and a special human to do that. But that's enough on Jake Paul. We'll talk a little bit about Tyron Woodley. Not to get too salty, and it's not good to put other fellow fighters down, but Tyron Woodley is a shite bag. And I'm just gonna come out and say that, plain and direct. Not speaking from his whole career, he's not obviously a shite bag, but from his last few performances, and yes, he has fought top guys, but there's a difference between fighting top guys, fighting your heart out and losing, and there's a difference between that and fighting the top guys, not fighting to the best of your ability, not going out there to finish fights and losing. And that's, in my opinion, what Tyron Woodley has been doing for the last 3 or 4 years of his career. He has not been going out with that killer instinct, and he's been getting murdered, and he hasn't won a fight in, I think, 3 or 4 years. So when this fight was initially announced, I honestly, my first thought was Jake Paul may beat him. Now it was the small chance that Jake Paul, maybe I would say 60-40 that Jake Paul could beat him, because he's larger than him. He's also been boxing quite a lot in the last few years. Tyron Woodley is not a boxer, he was a wrestler, and I never thought much of his striking, especially in larger gloves. 4-ounce gloves, he was able to catch people. Larger gloves, I don't think he has the ability to put people down like he did. So whenever the fight was initially announced, I thought that Jake Paul would have a very good chance. So we're going to watch the highlights here and see. This is in Ohio. This is where the Paul brothers are from. Like, him walking out there in a stadium full of people, I don't know what the capacity was. He's 24, like, and was a YouTuber, was on Disney Channel. Oh my god, Tyron Woodley, Jesus Christ. Oh my god. This is actually fun doing these videos. Right. Nothing else need be said about Tyron Woodley, about what sort of a guy he is. He's walking out with, I don't know who this rapper is. Thank fuck it wasn't Tyron Woodley rapping, because it's horrendous. But he's wearing headphones. He's also wearing a scum sheet. Why is he wearing headphones when he's got his mate walking him out singing next to him? He's not even listening to him. What is wrong with this guy? Like, as you can probably tell, I'm not the biggest Tyron Woodley fan in the world. Stats: Jake Paul 24, Tyron Woodley 29. Tyron Woodley 5'9", Jake Paul 6 foot. I actually thought it was bigger than that. That was actually a nice combo by Jake Paul. So, I mean, maybe that's round 1 or 2 there. That's round 2. Jake Paul can box. He can box. Now, he's obviously so young in the game and still a bit green, but like he's thrown to the head and to the body there quite nicely. Like he landed a nice wee combo. He went jab ahead, 1-2 to the body, up tall with a left hook, and it caught Tyron Woodley flush. Like a lot of his movement, you can tell is still unpolished, but like what do you expect? In fact, his brother Logan Paul was throwing that against Mayweather, and it was actually not too bad either. I sound like the biggest friggin' Paul brothers fan in the world here. So I'm gonna have to change my surname to Paul. Paul squared. There we are. So that's a big moment. Tyron Woodley basically drops him. Jake Paul falls against the ropes. Boom. He's literally holding on to the rope, and Tyron Woodley starts going like this here, and he doesn't do anything. He just lets him recover. You see the clip of the overhand here now. There it is, behind the ear. Almost had him out. Tyron Woodley should have gone in for the kill. See, Jake Paul can box, like, you know what I mean? Like we spoke, like he just drew the feint out of Woodley, step back, head out. Like the man can box, like not very good, but he's good enough to beat an ex-UFC world champion in Tyron Woodley, which is just it's almost it's embarrassing for the MMA community. Like I seen a thing on Twitter, it was like a picture of Jake Paul 4 years ago and a picture of Tyron Woodley 4 years ago. Woodley's got the UFC belt and Jake Paul's on a Disney set. Which is just funny. That overhand was money. Look at that. That landed. I mean, like, it's quite a wild shot, but it landed. Madness. Look, fair play to Jake Paul. Like, that was in his hometown. I don't know how many people were there. Looked like quite a lot. Like, man's 24, like, and he's went in and beat an ex-UFC world champion. Like, you gotta give it to him. Like, I sound like the biggest Jake Paul fan in the world right now, but like, as I say, I'm not a hater. I can appreciate the madness. In my opinion, Tyron Woodley's last few fights, he's been there to not lose or to not get knocked out and to get paid. And yes, albeit he's fought good guys, when you're just not putting it on the line to win, I don't really respect that. Do you know what I mean? It's easy for me to say sitting on my friggin' sofa here, but I think this is only the beginning. We're not even scratching the surface on the madness that's gonna happen in the next few years in combat sports and the people that you're gonna have fighting each other. Because if it makes money, it makes sense. Do you know what I mean? You could have Donald Trump versus Biden tomorrow. How many pay-per-view buys would that do? Like, do you know what I mean? You could have Conor McGregor Jr. against Hasbulla, and that would do 100 million pay-per-view buys. Like 100%. Like, so that's just the world that we're living in now.